All right, so welcome everyone to the October Master of Science in Health in the Public Interest information session. We host these every month. This is our second one, but our very first one with a guest student joining us. So we're very excited to introduce Abba later. But yeah, thank you for joining us. We're really thrilled to talk a little bit about our program, what our students are getting up to this fall, and how you can join us in the fall of 2026. So I will first head us off to our agenda today. First, we'll discuss ourselves, who we are, how we're involved with the program. We will talk about the program itself, how it differs from a traditional MPH program. It's an MS program in public health, but there's also some kind of interdisciplinary elements there. We will look into career opportunities and outcomes alumni have had after completing our program. I'll go into an admissions overview, what to expect when submitting an application in the program. And of course, we will leave plenty of time for your questions at the end. So without further ado, I'll start with myself and then pass it off to our program co-director here today. Our co-director, Dr. Myers, is running late due to technical difficulties, but we're hoping he'll be able to join us in a few minutes. First off, my name is Jennifer Jansen. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the program coordinator for the MS Health in the Public Interest program. What that means is I help support graduate students from application to graduation through recruitment, admissions, academic advising, and other various programmatic needs. So I'm a great resource for questions about the program and application logistics. From there, I'll pass it off to Dr. Adrienne Fu Berman, one of the co-founders and co-directors of the program.
Hi there. I'm Adrienne Fu Berman. Apologize for my voice, a bit of a respiratory infection. So I'm a physician and a professor in the Department of Pharmacology and Physiology and the Department of Family Medicine at Georgetown. And as Jenny said, one of the co-founders of the HAPPY program. We're in our eighth year now, I also direct a project called Farmed Out that does research and education on how the pharmaceutical industry manipulates the prescribing habits of physicians. And I also run the Urban Herbs Project, which takes care of about 5,000 square feet of gardens featuring a lot of different plants on campus. Dr. Myers will be joining us in a bit, but he's not only the co-director of the program, but also a cardiovascular physiologist, also in the Department of Pharmacology and Physiology. Abba, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Dr. Huberman. Hi, everyone. My name is Abba Mantri. I am a current student in the program. My undergraduate university was the University of Mississippi. I got a degree in international studies and global health, and that led me to my program here. I hope to take away from this program some information about, I would like to work towards bettering the healthcare system in the US and hopefully be a law student in the coming few years. So I'm really excited to be here and can't wait for your questions at the end.
Right, wonderful. Thank you, Abba. Dr. Myers actually just joined us, so I'll give him a minute. But Dr. Myers, whenever you are ready, you're welcome to also introduce yourself and your role within the program.
Hi, everybody. I kind of blew my timing on this call, so I apologize for jumping on late. And I may have to go off camera at some point, but I really am happy to be here and talking to you today. I'm Adam Myers, a longtime professor at Georgetown School of Medicine, as is Dr. Fu Berman. And my scientific career was mainly in cardiovascular sciences, but I also got into developing graduate programs and working on things of sort of more socially immediate impact, which is why I got involved in the Health in the Public Interest program with Dr. Fu Berman. We started working on developing the program about 9 years ago, I guess, already. So it's a real pleasure to be working in this important area, and happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I hope, Jenny, could you put my email in the chat as well if anyone wants to send me any messages after the talk?
Yes, I'll get on that once I transition us to our faculty. Dr. Myers or Dr. Feuerberman, you're welcome to elaborate on some of the faculty that take part in our program.
Sure. Yulia Dutton. So the program starts with a kind of social sciences boot camp in the summer that lasts about 3.5 weeks, and that is directed by Dr. Yulia Dutton, who's a cultural psychologist, and then it's also taught by an anthropologist and a sociologist. It sort of gives everybody the same footing on some social sciences. Dr. Sherman's a really popular biochemist who teaches nutrition, which is an elective, and Lynette Golding is our she teaches health communications, which was actually a course we didn't have in the beginning of the program, but the students really wanted to have a course in health communication, so we added it to the curriculum, and it's been really popular. Dr. Golding actually just did a seminar for the program yesterday that was really great. Next. Pam Saunders. Oh, I think we probably don't have a picture of our new theory and methods of epidemiology teacher, but we have a two-part we have a sort of a two-part course. So the first part in the fall is taught by Donnell Harvin, and it theory and methods of epidemiology is more quantitative, but it's not a heavy statistics course. And then in the spring, Pam Saunders teaches a course that's more on qualitative research. Dr. Marver teaches biology of health and disease. So that's a course that not all of the HAPI students take. So if you have a biology background, you don't have to take that course. But we also get English lit majors and psych majors who don't necessarily have a strong backing in biology, and so they take that course, and everybody loves it. It's like it really it helps give you a sort of a foundation in the terminology of health and some basic physiology of various diseases. So even if you don't have a science background, you'll be able to have a conversation about diabetes or cardiovascular disease with some knowledge behind it. And Dr. Turbet teaches our health economics course. So it's really it's a very interdisciplinary program. Next. Dr. Weinstein teaches various international health elective. Oh, there's Donnell. Okay. Yay, Jenny. Thanks for putting him on. Okay. So Donnell is our theory and methods of epi teacher. And he just started teaching this course this year and has been incredibly popular among the students. They're like already mourning the fact that he's not teaching anything in the spring. Next. Is this someone else?
I can talk a little bit about this. Generally, as an overview of Georgetown, this is a place where you'll engage with a community of students, faculty, and alumni from a range of insights, backgrounds, and experiences. We're housed within the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences currently, which sees us interact with a lot of different programs. Sometimes we'll collaborate on events together. And of course, the larger Georgetown University is at your disposal if you want to get involved with graduate student organizations, different positions on campus, and more. So there's a lot of opportunities for collaboration there, which is something we really value as an interdisciplinary program. Courses that we have and larger elective courses you'll learn about later blend focus study and real-world experience, especially courses like health advocacy, to empower your personal and professional growth. You'll have plenty of opportunities to apply what you learned to become a leader in your community. We really try to prioritize people not just learning the current healthcare system, but also how to critically analyze it and improve it for the better. And finally, this is a school rooted in Jesuit values with courses that prepare you to think, reflect, and act with intention. So we're interested in not just kind of academic, intellectual health, but also spiritual, mental, and physical, which I think really benefits us being housed in a university that has those values as a program that also thinks about health holistically.
let's see, I think we've already covered these different courses. So these are the required courses. And one of the things that's nice about Happy Program, and also I think different than one of the things that makes us different from an MPH program, is you actually do have some flexibility with electives. And so students can put together, you have more electives than you would in an MPH program. And so students will sometimes put together electives in a particular concentration. So if they're interested in reproductive health, or they're interested in infectious diseases, or they're interested in global health, they might put together their electives in order to focus on one of those concentrations. Next.
Great. So looking at our program as a whole, our goal is to teach you to be a caring advocate for a rational healthcare system and policies, and to understand a wide range of non-medical influences on health that kind of impact healthcare outcomes. So as you saw, you'll learn that from a very interdisciplinary curriculum, and we'll go further after this slide to discuss how you can get more involved with electives in different departments across Georgetown University. But at a glance, full-time, our program takes 1 year to complete. It's summer to summer, so roughly August to August. But of course, there are also part-time options. We've had a good amount of students study part-time and work full-time within the program. So we can definitely get you connected to one of them if you'd like to learn more about that. We also have a seminar series we'll discuss later that's kind of a highlight of our program, which features presentations and discussions with public health leaders every week. And do note that while we don't have a confirmed tuition rate for the 2026 academic year, the current one is about $20.98 per credit, which brings you to just about $63,000, in addition to, as I'll discuss later, some limited merit aid scholarships that we offer within the program. So overall, you will take 30 credits of coursework. 21 of those will be core course credits. About 6 of those will be elective credits. However, if you are exempted from biology of health and disease, then you'll take 9 credits. And finally, you'll wrap up with a 3-credit capstone project. So this is the standard full-time schedule for the program. You'll start with the Health, Disease, and Society course, which is a sort of 3-week intensive course taught by 3 different wonderful instructors to teach you kind of how we look at the healthcare system and public health throughout the program. Just kind of a way to get you prepared for the coursework we have in the fall. This is also a virtual session, so it does give you more time if needed to make housing plans and move to the DC area. And then once we get to the end of August, we will have an in-person traditional fall semester on campus. There you will take Theory and Methods 1, which I believe is the qualitative session of Theory and Methods. You will take Biology of Health and Disease. However, if you do have undergraduate experience in biology, you may be exempted from this course and thus take another elective instead. You'll take the Health Advocacy course that Dr. Fuberman teaches. You will take the seminar course, which is the virtual weekly seminar with public leaders that I discussed a little bit. And you will take your first elective course. In the spring, you'll also have another in-person semester. You'll take Theory and Methods of Inquiry 2. So that is the quantitative, or sorry, that's the qualitative. I believe they start with quantitative.
Right.
Then, yeah, you'll take Health Economics, Health Communication, your seminar course again, and your second elective or third if you're exempted for biology. And you'll wrap up with your capstone or internship project in the following summer. Ava, I'd love to pass it to you if you want to talk a little bit about a course you're taking right now, or maybe one of your favorite courses so far.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So as I said, I have a background in international relations and global health. So I really want to be able to use that, I guess, and move forward with it to hopefully utilize it as a law student in the future. I'm taking 2 electives right now because I was exempt from the biology course. I'm taking bioterrorism and I'm taking health policy and systems. One is one really helps me understand, I guess, more of the nuances within the intel and security studies community regarding like infectious diseases, bioweapons, and that kind of thing. Um, and then the other one, I can't pick a favorite, so I'm just going to tell you what both of them do. But the other one, health policy and systems, we kind of talk about what makes up a good health system, some policies that are in place, like what mechanisms are there to make sure that a health system is long-standing and like self-sustaining after a certain amount of time. Our professor is actually like used to work in the World Bank, so like her experience is it's very inspiring to hear what she's done and to hear her expertise. I know like there's like a very diverse list of electives, which goes to show how interdisciplinary this program really is. And one thing I would say is like don't limit yourself. Like I came from a really interdisciplinary program, so I was used to having like a million and one options. And so it can feel daunting, but you should really do like what you think is going to benefit you in the future and something that you think is going to be really like interesting and might lead you to another opportunity. Um, Jenny, I don't know if that answered your question all the way, but I can elaborate more if you need.
No, that was perfect, Abba. Thank you so much for sharing. And a great reminder to really expand your horizons with electives because there's a lot of options out there. So definitely try out some new things if you're interested in a certain field. This is a sample version of the part-time schedule. This will vary depending on how you communicate and set up this plan with the program co-directors. Sometimes people finish in 2 years, sometimes people finish in 3 years, but the average is 2. But here's what it may look like if you complete the program in 2 years. We do ask that everyone still starts with the health, disease, and society course. So unfortunately, we can't have people start in the fall. That fall pre-session in August is just kind of the best way for you to get a sense of how our future coursework will work. In fall, you could take Theory and Methods 1, Biology of Health and Disease, or a substituted elective and seminar. Then Theory and Methods of Inquiry 2, Health Communication Seminar. And then the second year is when you'd get into health advocacy, your next elective, and health economics. And then you'd finish in that following summer with your capstone or internship project. As Abba mentioned, there are a host of electives you can choose. The reason for this is because we have an agreement with different schools across Georgetown University to have a course exchange system. And what that means is we can have students request electives in all sorts of different programs across Georgetown, which means that these actually aren't internally offered electives like you may see in other programs. These are electives that come from different programs. You can take the same classes that law students are taking, that global health master's students are taking, that psychology students are taking. Anything that's graduate level and beyond is open to you. So here's a small sampling of the ones students have taken in the past. It's a great way to kind of see and specialize in the public health fields that matter to you. So you can try out environmental health and policy, for example, or minority health and health disparities, health policy and politics, public health law and ethics, sexuality law and policy, and the list goes on. You'll also see medicinal plants and pharmacognosy is actually Dr. Fu Berman's course, as she also teaches in the pharmacology department at the Georgetown Medical Center. And below, there's a little list of schools that we take some of our electives from, such as School of Health, Public Policy, the Law Center, the School of Foreign Service, and more. So we definitely encourage you to expand your horizons, and this is a great program to do it with because you can explore a lot of different areas of public health.
So if I could just interject something, these courses are available for you to apply to take. It can depend on prerequisites and also space available and whatever the current circumstances are in that course. Certainly, if we offer a slate of courses that have been available in the past, you can apply for them and see which ones you get. And Jenny's very good at finding alternatives. If you can't get the specific one you want, there's probably something in a similar area to allow you to kind of, I'm sure you talked about this before I got on to some extent, but to mold your program to meet your specific interests.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Myers. I'll pass it back to Dr. Fu Berman now to share a little bit about the capstone project. I just updated this slide with our last classes capstone projects, and you can actually see more on our website. Dr. Huberman, are you?
You're muted.
I realized I'd forgotten to say anything about my own course, health advocacy, but that's a very student-run course in a way. So the students are very participatory. So the students have to actually monitor advocacy events, and they follow advocacy groups, and they also do an advocacy project of in a group as well. So that's an interesting course. And then the capstone project, which most students do the second summer, it's the equivalent of 6 weeks full time, so 240 hours. Some students, spread it out and do it part time. Some students even start in the spring semester, but that's unusual. Some students do it later than the second year, but most students do a 6 week something in the second summer. So it is possible to complete the entire course of courses within 12 months. So these are some of the more recent capstone projects that people have done. So one of the students, CJ, worked with one of his former professors, Dr. Turbat. Another student worked with another group at Georgetown that was working with the Lancet Commission. She was very interested in the effects of faith on health. Another student worked with the International Rescue Committee. And another student worked in a cancer prevention center. So the students look for things that are in their areas of interest. We have a lot of contacts and ideas for students, and we try and get them something that they're particularly interested in. Next. And these are some other things that students have done. Sometimes they've gone to work for like local government. Sometimes they've worked for the federal government, like the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. Sometimes they've done a research project with one of the research professors at Georgetown, and also do a research project with somebody outside of Georgetown. And occasionally students will actually do an individual project. One student designed a health communications course. Another student created a book proposal for a book that she wanted to write, and that was her capstone project. So really different kinds of things.
Great, I'll pass it to Dr. Myers.
Yeah, so seminar for me is really the highlight of the week. It's an opportunity for the whole program to get together. All of the students, whether you're a part-time student or a full-time student, attend on a weekly basis during the fall and spring semester. We have a great lineup of speakers. Here's a couple of them. Anna Marie Jutel is going to be speaking this coming Wednesday, I believe. Is that right, Jennifer? And then we've had people like Anthony Fauci, Peter Hotez, any number of very well-known public health people speak, as well as some of your own instructors talking about their research. And it serves a lot of purposes. First of all, you get experience moderating seminars. Every student moderates a couple of seminars during the year and introduces a speaker, gets to know them a little bit. And so it's an opportunity to network and learn some professional tools. You can suggest seminar speakers, and I'll do my best to get that speaker or someone else on a similar topic. So it's, again, a way to kind of slant the program in a direction that you're interested in, and get to know a couple people in the field. And it's a potentially important source of ideas for capstones as well. We've had people do capstones with the people that have given seminars over the years. So again, it's a highlight of the week for a lot of us, and it's on Zoom. So I don't know what got transacted before I got online, but there's a couple things that happen on Zoom regularly, and one is the the pre-fall course, the social sciences course. I'm sure that was mentioned. The other one is the seminar course, because we discovered during COVID that we could get an international audience. There was 50 people signed on yesterday for the talk for our seminar, and we can get international speakers. The speaker this coming week is going to be talking from Australia, so it's really opened things up for us, and you don't lose too much. In fact, it really adds to the quality of the interactions and the learning experience, I believe. So, and finally, it's a way for you to learn about the program starting now. If you're seriously interested in our program, I suggest that you drop in on some of our seminars. We can put you on the mailing list, and you can pick and choose, but you'll see that there are topics of pretty high interest to you almost every week during the 2 semesters. So please do drop by.
All right, thank you for summarizing, Dr. Myers. If you are ever interested in learning more about seminar or suggesting a speaker, you can reach out to him, and I can also get you on the newsletter mailing list. Another great thing to know is this is our only afternoon to morning class. We have pretty much all of our other classes at 3 p.m. or later, so that's helpful for some students who are considering studying part-time and carrying on work full-time. And of course, it's virtual, so it's something you can do on your lunch break or something like that. You don't necessarily have to come to campus on that day if you have other working responsibilities. Ava, I believe you have moderated so far this semester, so I'd love if you could talk a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I would love to do that. So I moderated the first session that we had this semester. It was with Dr. Turbot, whose picture we all saw on like a few slides back. He works in like he teaches in like economics and global health economics. Also worked in the World Bank, so very like knowledgeable in like the I guess technicalities of health systems, like how to actually keep them sustainable. And it was a very insightful talk because he explained like 2 core concepts about like health systems financing, but he like brought it down to our level because he knew we were just like getting started in the program, and like that we didn't really know as much as we know now. And so it was a really great way to like get started with I guess the entire program. And like every week the speakers are different, as mentioned before, so we really bring in that multidisciplinary aspect again. And moderating itself is really fun because you get to reach out to them ahead of time and introduce yourself, and you ask them for like a fun fact, and you kind of get that like initial connection going, so that like you're welcoming them on the behalf of your cohort. And it's a really cool way to just thank them for what they've done and their contributions, and for taking the time to speak with us. And so during the actual seminar, you introduce them to not only like the class, but the entire audience. And you take questions from people, and yeah, you make sure that everything runs smoothly, acting like a liaison between the guest and the audience members. It's really fun. It really like gets you practice on like public speaking, and like if we're going to be leaders in this field, we have to like know how to interact with people, and to whenever people are together, get them talking, get ideas flowing. So yeah, I really enjoy the seminar course. It really helps like my brain because it's something different every week, so it never gets boring, and everyone truly has so much to contribute. And you'll find that the members of your cohort, they all are kind of like, everyone comes from like their own different niches and backgrounds, so the questions are never basic. Like they come with like intentionality, and with like the knowledge that they bring to this too. And so you just get to like sit and bask in like the amount of perspectives that you're hearing, and it's just such a cool experience. So I had a great time moderating. So if that sounds like something you'd love doing, you should totally sign up for this, apply to this program.
Thanks,
So I want to.
It's also a great way of networking with people. You get to meet a lot of people during seminar, and some of the students have ended up doing capstones with the seminar speaker. I'm sorry, Adam.
Yeah, I wanted to say I got confused earlier. So Anna Marie Jutel was someone who spoke in September. She's from New Zealand. We have a speaker who's also getting up in the middle of the night to speak to us next week, and it's Julia Duffy, who's going to be talking about cognitive disability, human rights, and decision making, and its relationship to reproductive justice. So this has to do with reproductive rights and pregnancy rights amongst people with um, mental disabilities and behavioral issues. So I think that's going to be a great seminar, but sorry for the confusion.
No worries. I just posted the link to sign up for that particular seminar in chat as well.
Great.
So these are our students go on to a lot of different things. You've heard Abba's going to go on to law school. We always seem to have a few students who are interested in law and going on to law school. So she's got some friends in the cohort who are also interested in going to law school. And less often, people have gone on to other further training. So we've had students go on to med school, social work school, and a doctorate in public health, and a PhD in lab science. But most of the students go on to to jobs and everything from teaching to working for the government, to working for university to working for a nonprofit. And so these are some of the places where our students have ended up as in jobs.
And so one of the important things about any master's program is how well can they help you achieve your ultimate goals, right? And I just want to assure you that we have lots of experience advising people who are interested in law school, interested in medical school, science or public health PhDs. So, and helping you to think about places that you can apply for jobs. So we're very well situated and experienced in that aspect.
You'll also see that some of our alumni have gone on to actually work at Farmed Out, which is Dr. Fu Berman's research organization, and they regularly take on student interns as well. So that's something we definitely recommend you reaching out about if you're in the program and interested in pharmaceutical ethics, marketing, and advertising of different drugs. All right, so I'll take us now to the application process, financial aid, and other things to consider when applying to the program. So firstly, here is a handy application checklist. Feel free to screenshot or take a picture on your phone if that's helpful to you. But you can also, of course, find all of this information on our website. First of all, you'll need to complete your application form. This is done online at gradapply.georgetown.edu. You'll see a bunch of apply now buttons on our website too, and that'll take you right there. You will need an application fee. However, this is a great time to be thinking about your application because all fees are waived before our priority deadline of January 15th, 2026. So if you submit before January in the following year, your application will be free. Next up, we require a academic statement of purpose. This is roughly 500 words, wherein you discuss your academic journey, what brought you to apply to the program, what you hope to get out of it, and your personal goals. We also strongly urge you to fill out the personal background statement, which is about the same amount of words, because this gives you an opportunity to expand on your background and experiences, anything that you feel like isn't represented in your application yet. And it also gives us an opportunity to see how you've contributed to your community, how you'd contribute to our community as a very hands-on program, and just a way to get to know you better. So we really recommend that people do that one as well, and we've really enjoyed reading those statements. Next up, we require a writing sample, which is used to assess your preparedness to write at the graduate level and perform critical analysis, which is a key component of a happy education. As such, this does not need to be tailored to the application. For example, most commonly, students will submit things like research papers or capstones from their undergraduate degrees, but we also welcome things like op-eds and technical reports. That one, we just need a page or more, really just to kind of assess your writing style, how you think, and how you learn. Then we will need your resume or curriculum vitae and 3 letters of recommendation. If possible, try to have at least one of your recommenders be an academic you've worked with, such as a professor. However, you may use responsible individuals from a work environment for 1, 2, or all of those recommendations. But of course, if you are pretty close to completing your undergraduate degree or already recently completed with it, we really do recommend you have at least one professor you worked with, but we know, of course, this isn't possible for every applicant. This is handled through the online portal, so you'll enter the recommender's contact information and email, and from there they will receive email instructions on how to submit their letters on your behalf. You can also send them reminders and check the status of their submissions through that portal. A really good thing to know about that is we will consider your application submitted on time if you give us their recommender emails and names. So we do not actually need the letters in hand when you submit your application. We'll give you a few weeks of buffer time just to make sure that those professors and those professionals get their letters in for you. Again, as soon as it's available, we'll need a transcript with your undergraduate degree on it if you're currently completing that. However, we will accept unofficial transcripts by both the priority and the regular deadline. Just know eventually we'll need an official one before the start of classes in order to make a final decision with the Office of Graduate Studies. But similar to recommenders, you do not need an official transcript in hand when you are submitting that application. Finally, if you attended a school for undergrad where the primary language of instruction was not English, we require a demonstration of English language proficiency. You'll see on the right in that bottom blue box the minimum TOEFL and IELTS scores required to be considered eligible for admission to the program. So TOEFL and IELTS are the 2 types of tests we will accept to show English language proficiency. And finally, on that upper blue box, you will see we do not require a GRE test. So what does it take to be considered eligible for admission to this graduate program? First, you'll need a bachelor's degree, which means that applicants must hold a bachelor's degree or 4-year undergraduate degree from an accredited institution. So this should be equivalent to 4 years of undergraduate study in the United States. If you are not sure that your degree matches to this, for example, if you are an international student, we recommend submitting a WES evaluation or using some other credential evaluation service to submit to Georgetown so we can accurately review your transcripts. Next up, we are a program that gets very hands-on in our classes. We love to see our students getting involved in advocacy and really just showing passion for different areas of the world of public health. As such, demonstrated interest in public health related fields is really key and strongly preferred. Those fields can be healthcare, health equity, reform, and advocacy, and anything kind of in between those categories. We've had students interested in maternal health, environmental health, racial equity, treatment of chronic diseases. So what really gives you passion in public health, that's what we want to see on your application. Finally, we require a minimum grade point average of 3.0 on a 4.0 scale as required by the Office of Graduate Studies. With all this being said, I do want to draw your attention to that blue box in the bottom right corner because we conduct a holistic review of applications, meaning we want to consider all of your materials, all of your circumstances and background when thinking about your admission. We want to get to know our applicants and what draws them to the program, and we know that not everyone has the same professional or academic journey. So if you feel like you are an otherwise very compelling candidate, but are concerned about any of these eligibility requirements, we encourage you to reach out to us via our program email, HAPI or happy@georgetown.edu, or you can reach out to me directly. Next up, here are those application deadlines I have been alluding to. The first one is our priority deadline. This is a good one to hit because it gives you priority merit aid consideration. As I mentioned, we do have some limited merit scholarships, and we have most of our budget, of course, at the beginning of the year when reviewing applications. This deadline is January 15th, and another great reason to submit by then is your application fee will be waived. If you missed that deadline, though, no worries. Applications are reviewed on a rolling basis until our final deadline of April 1st, 2026. The application fee after January 15th is $90. But note for each of them, classes will begin in August of 2026, and please apply for fall 2026 because your sort of summer boot camp course is billed as a fall course. Right, now I'll talk a little bit about financial aid. As I mentioned, our tuition for the academic year 2026 is not confirmed yet. However, the school increases it on average 4% each year. The last rate was $2,000.98 per credit. So if you want to do the math on your own and get a good estimate, you can work on a 4% increase to that, but we should have the numbers closer to the winter. It is rare for a master's program to be fully covered by merit aid or other forms of aid alone, so we do recommend searching for additional sources of funding earlier. A good amount of scholarship deadlines actually start occurring in October, so this is a great time to be on this call and searching. Really, just the earlier the better with different scholarships is kind of key. There are sources out there like ProFellow and Scholarships 360 for you to search, as well as apply to graduate external fellowships and scholarships. And the Office of Graduate Studies also has a page on external fellowships and scholarships, tips, and scholarships offered across Georgetown University. Our program does offer limited merit-based aid for competitive applicants, and all applicants are automatically considered. We do, however, as I mentioned on the last slide, encourage you to apply by that priority deadline of January 15th in order to get full consideration. The Office of Student Financial Aid is there as well with more information on deadlines and tips for applying to external scholarships. The Graduate Career Center offers a number of resources to find and apply to those scholarships, and also think about your future career with the program. If you're eligible for Veterans Affairs benefits, make sure to contact the GU Veterans Service for more information on starting that application process. And if you are a domestic citizen, we really do recommend that you apply to the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA, because it is open to graduate students, it's free, and you can be found eligible for federal low-interest student loans or be awarded federal work-study status, which allows you to apply to federal work-study designated positions on campus. However, all students, regardless of work-study status, are welcome to apply to on-campus part-time positions. So that's a good thing to look into as well. Students can work up to 20 hours a week on campus while studying at the university, and it can be a good way to get a sense of different departments. For example, I work with a student right now for our program that is in the Communications, Culture, and Technology Master's program. So sometimes you can get a sense of what other programs are doing, and some of those positions also come in the form of things like internships if you're interested in more focused study in a particular area when working. The minimum wage in DC is also $17.95 for most workers as well if you are interested in supplementing expenses through external work. Finally, last two things here. If you are planning on continuing employment while being in the program, we do recommend you reach out to your employer and see if they have any tuition benefits available to you. And the Georgetown Office of Revenue and Receivables offers monthly installment payment plans through their office, so you can sign up for that through the billing portal for Georgetown. All right, with all of that said, thank you so much for joining us again. We're really happy to have you all here today. And now I'll turn it over to all of you. Feel free to go off of mute, use the raise hand function, or type in the chat if you have a question for our panel here. Right, we have one question. Clonice, feel free to go off of mute.
Hello, thank you so much, everyone, for this panel. My question was, what type of characteristics are you looking for someone who's interested in this program?
I think you're on mute, Dr. Fuberman.
Sorry, I'm just trying not to bother everyone with my coughing. When we're looking for students who are interested in making change, so I think one of the things that really makes us different from MPH programs is we don't want to just apply the current system. We actually want to change it for the better. And so we're looking for students who are interested in doing that. They can come from a wide variety of backgrounds. We look for students who are good writers and communicators, and you know there are minimum requirements for academic achievement as well. But we have a pretty broad group, diverse group of students, I would say, which has been great. This year's class has really bonded with each other.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for coming today. Jared in the chat asks, are both part-time and full-time applicants considered for merit aid? Yes, they are. Everyone who applies to the program is considered automatically for merit aid. No extra applications or fees there. That'll just be part of your application review process. Great, Leanne, feel free to go off of mute.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this. This is really helpful. I just have a quick logistics questions regarding the writing sample. Is that going could it be, for example, a policy memo or something that I've done for a class that is related to politics and the stuff? Is that I'm thinking of what the options that I have right now, and I think a policy memo is one of the things that I have in mind. So I just wonder if that's okay or it needs to be something.
Sure, that would be perfect actually. And yeah, I mean, it's not anything that you have to. We'd love to see something that you did for class. It could be a paper, policy memo, something like that. Just something that's written just by you, not written by a group, just so we can see what your writing is like. Yeah, but that would be perfect.
Thanks. Yeah.
Other questions? Okay, well, if anyone thinks of any questions, please feel free to contact Jenny or Dr. Myers or me. We're happy to communicate with students individually.
All right, I will put up our kind of contact slide, but while I'm doing that spiel, if a question comes to you, feel free. It's not too late to ask one. We can stop and answer that. But of course, if you think of something after this, you're welcome to reach out to me via our program phone, which is up there, as well as our program email, happy@georgetown.edu. I really recommend keeping up with our Instagram account and our LinkedIn account to see what our students are up to, upcoming seminars, and how to sign up for those. And other ways to get involved with the program and public health advocacy. LinkedIn and Instagram every week we'll share new flyer, new poster about the seminar series, which again is virtual and open to the public every Wednesday from noon to 1:15. And we really love to have you there. That's a great way to get a sneak peek at one of the Happy courses, meet some students, see what they're doing and how they're moderating with speakers and more. But yeah, we'd love to keep in touch with you, and we really appreciate all of you for making time for us today. And we hope to see your applications coming in this fall.
Thanks for coming.